So, welcome everyone, those who are on the call and those who will ever see the recording, to this Capricorn full moon transmission with beloved Ascended Master El Morya in our sacred circle on June 30th, 2026. So, this is a time of where everything's happening all at once, really, isn't it? It's like the consciousness of the collective is expanding exponentially, even at the time when it seems like everything is breaking down in the outer world and there's so much chaos going on. And in our inner worlds, there's so much coming up to be processed and integrated and let go of. And yeah, this lunation is quite intense because it has so many aspects astrologically happening, and because there's so many shifts in the astrological framework all at the same time. So it's really a lot about changes. Every full moon is about letting go. And so here we are again at this full moon. It's the midpoint of the year, right? So what they showed me today is like, when you're going down the roller coaster and you go all the way down at the top and down at the bottom, and then you start to come up. It's that kind of a shift that's happening now energetically for each of us and for the planet. So thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me, for being here, for the space that you hold, for all the gifts that you anchor into the earth. And, um, you know, for those who are present on the call and even those who receive it, it's like you are the receiver and the transmitter of this energy and the call and the messages that are given here, and also the initiation that El Morya will give us. So my great, great, great gratitude to each of you for showing up today, even in the place of your uncomfortability, like externally and internally. So I always say that it's so important to show up for calls when you're really not feeling at your best, because that's when you can make the biggest shifts. And it really gives everybody on the call and receiving the transmission the opportunity to support you and to hold space for you. Thank you for everyone showing up. So now let's just go into a quiet space. I'm going to begin to do the invocation, but before that, placing one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Again, just telling your inner child, I'm here with you and I'm not going anywhere. Take the breath on that. I'm here with you and I'm not going anywhere. I'm here with you and I'm not going anywhere. And this is a practice that you can use anytime that you feel yourself feeling nervous or anxious, or there's a lot of pressure going on around, or you have to make a big decision. It's just a coming home to your heart, coming home with your belly, your intuition, and really acknowledging the feelings within the inner child that something's happening that you have to address. So let's just close our eyes. You can place your hands in a prayer position if you want, or just have them on your heart as I call in the Ascended Masters. I call forth now 144 Hathor Guardians and 88 Hathor Gatekeepers. Take your places. Beloved Alpha and Omega, Helios and Vesta, God and Goddess Meru, come. Lord Maitreya, come. Gautama Buddha, come. 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Place your presence here with us. Beloved Archangel Michael and the Archangels and Archei, form a circle around our space. Anchor now your columns and pillars of light. Beloved Isis and Osiris, Yeshua and Magdalene, Kuan Yin and Avalokiteshvara, Cosmic Mother Mary, Queen of Heaven, come. Archangel Raphael, Beloved Anna, grandmother of Jesus. Beloved Joseph of Arimathea, come. Beloved Archangel Metatron and Lord Melchizedek. Isis, Toth, Anabu, Sekhmet, Ptah, Nut, and Geb, and Horus. Hmm. Hmm. Queen of light, goddess of purity, come. Saint Germain and Portia, hierarchs of the Aquarian age. Lady Liberty, Pallas Athena, goddess of truth and goddess of wisdom. Avalokiteshvara, Cyclopeia, the great divine director, and the entire great karmic board. Sanat Kumara and Lady Master Venus. Serapis Bey, El Morya Kutumi, and Dwa Kuo. Lord Lanto and Confucius, Nada Hilarion, and Paul the Venetian. Sananda Sanada, the Ashtar Command. Your own twin flame and soulmate families. Your star ancestors, the Palladians, the Andromedans, the Lyrians, the Syrians, and the 12 star systems who hold presence for planet Earth's ascension and our own. We call forth the 144 aspects of each one's I am presence. The 12 aspects of you having presence, having life in each of the 12 dimensions. Those aspects of yourself that you can draw upon and bring forth the dimensions and the veils into this lifetime for the anchoring of your gifts in multi-dimensions. Now we call forth the dolphins, the whales, the unicorns, the dragons, and the merpeople. The mystical, magical realms in other dimensions, interacting with our life here on planet Earth and this moment in time and space of Earth's evolutions. And the cycles upon cycles upon cycles that are outplaying here right now on planet Earth. So we connect into the crystalline beings and the crystalline earth keepers. The mountains, the rocks, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, the elementals, the fiery salamanders, the undines of the water, the gnomes of the earth, and the sylphs of the air. The angelic kingdom, the Lemurians on the inner earth, the two-legged ones, the four-legged ones, the winged ones, the seen and the unseen, and all of our relations. And beloved Master El Morya, we call to you into the center of our circle. overlighting this call as the master aligned with God's will and God's power. And we give gratitude for this day as we call in now the consciousness that ensouls all of the planets. So we call in the sun and at 8 degrees of Cancer and the moon at 8 degrees of Capricorn. Mercury in Cancer, Venus in Leo, Mars in Gemini, Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Aries, Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, and Pluto in Aquarius, Chiron in Taurus. We ask for the consciousness of all of these orbs and the beings who ensoul them to join us now in our sacred circle, around the circle that we are currently in as the ones holding space for this transmission. So we see El Morya in the center. We see each of us on the call and who will ever receive it on the next circle. Then the ascended masters, angels, and beings in the next circle. And then the consciousness of the planets holding space, holding space, holding space. And now let's just envision that each of these concentric circles are not motionless, but they're moving. So some are moving clockwise and some are moving counterclockwise, which gives us the counterclockwise rotational spin, which is the energy of manifestation. The counterclockwise spins. So just feeling now the space that's been created. I'm going to project the blend opening to the infinite. So receive it now, breathe it in, and just allow it to land for you wherever it needs to go in the physical, the mental, the emotional, and memory bodies. Now just placing your hands on your heart, I'm going to project the blend. Lotus of the heart, stargate to the universe. Receive it now. Take the breath, hold it. As we focus now upon our hearts, our sacred heart, as the portal, as the connection point between heaven and earth, holding that nexus point between the golden figure eight from your heart to the heart of the sun and back again to your heart and then to the heart of the earth. And now let's take that figure eight flow again from your heart to the heart, the golden temple, in the heart of the central sun, and the God star Sirius, and back to your heart, and anchor it back into the earth. And now let's take that golden figure eight flow from your heart all the way out to the great central sun. Back to your heart and into the heart of the great central moon. And now let's just keep anchoring these figure eight flows gold and silver figure eight flows. So we're going to go from your heart to the left side of your heart and back again to the center, and then to the right side of your heart and back again to the center. And from that secret chamber of your heart to the top chamber of your heart and back again to the altar space, and then to the bottom part of your heart and back again. And now we're going to take that figure eight flow, front and back heart. So from your heart to the front of the heart, to the secret chamber, and back again to the back of the heart. As we bring the heart into perfect balance. Now let's just envision entering that secret chamber of your heart, where your threefold flame of power, wisdom, and love is burning on the altar of your heart. And this is where we anchor our presence for this call. Right in the center of our sacred heart. And let's just call down our tube of light. This is a white pillar of light from your own I am presence through the heart of your soul and into the heart and around your body, like the power of a million Niagara Falls, descending from your omnipresent, omnipotent, and all-powerful essence of who you are in your I am presence. See this waterfall of light anchoring into the heart of the earth. And you standing in the center of it, surrounded by the violet flame of transmutation. And now we see each one of us on the call and everyone who will ever receive it, standing in their own pillar of light in the sacred circle. We say thank you, thank you, thank you to all the beings who have joined us and all the blessings we are about to receive. So taking the breath, just coming back into your body slowly, slowly, slowly as you're ready. So now let's just take a look. We're going to take a look at the numerology. We're going to take a look at the astrology of this moon. Just feeling now. Before we do that, though, let's just feel into what it feels like around you now. What are you feeling inside? What are the emotions you're holding? What places in your body are holding tension? Yeah. Just feeling what it feels like to be fully present in your body right now. So the Capricorn full moon is the 29th. It's today in America. And it's actually just after midnight at 12:56 a.m. for those of you who are in Europe. And it's in 8 degrees of Capricorn and 8 degrees the is the moon, and the sun is at 8 degrees of Cancer. So it's the Capricorn Cancer axis in astrology. And the number 8 is the number of infinity. So flow, it's the mother, it's the continuation of our lives, and how everything is, as a soul, we are infinite, we are eternal, we are immortal. And this is the sign of that immortality. So it happens at 12:56 a.m. in Universal Time, 7:56 today in Eastern Time, and 4:56 p.m. in Pacific Daylight Time. So we are just riding now the wave of the crest of this full moon. If we take a look at the numerology of the day, we have 6/29/2026, which reduces to 27/9. And if we take a look at 6:30, we have 6 plus 3, no, 6. Oh my goodness. 6 plus 3 is 9, and then 2026 is a 10, so that makes it 19. All right. 19, which reduces to a 10, which is all about new beginnings and infinite possibilities. And it's the number of instant manifestations. So we know, or we understand, that when we move into the fifth dimension, we're out of time and space. And so we begin to manifest, we have the power to manifest instantaneously. So what we're working on now is mastery in the third and fourth dimension, so that when we get to the fifth dimension, that which we manifest is that which we really want to call into physical manifestation. So we're going to take a look at Capricorn is an earth sign. And it's all about physical security, about our jobs, our achievement, our careers, our structure, discipline, long-term commitments, our mastery, accountability, authority. And it really is like carries the archetype of the father, right? Holding that container for the divine feminine to be able to do her highest possible works of creation. And then the Cancer governs our emotional security. So Capricorn is the outer security, Cancer is the emotional security. And Cancer is a water sign, a sign of the divine feminine. And it really relates to our home, our comfort in the home, security related to the home. You know, Cancer's about the heart, it's about the family, about nurturance, and it's really carries the archetype of the mother. So I'm going to give you the blend, sweet nurturance, for honoring Cancer and the energy that's contained within the sign of Cancer. So sweet nurturance, receive it now, and take the breath. And this is for being held in the arms of the mother. So our inner children are really wanting to be recognized now through this moon. And our feelings, deep feelings that we've hidden for so long, or maybe cellular memories that we have not allowed to surface for healing, are coming up now. So being held in the arms of the mother is really where we're being called to be at the moment in many ways. And then we have Capricorn as that aspect of the father, which, the loving father, right? The one who wants us to achieve the highest possible manifestation of the destiny of our lives. The one who was there to teach us how to ride the bike, the one who is teaching us how to climb the highest mountain. So for that aspect, I'm going to give you the blend, the quickening. So the gentle, quiet presence of the Divine Father, holding space and yet encouraging us to go beyond where we've ever been able to go before. So the quickening, receive that. The breath. So this full moon is really highlighting the polarity between our emotional needs versus our responsibilities, right? So we're really being asked to reparent ourselves, to become our own highest Divine Mother and Divine Father in perfect balance, holding our inner child as the soul. The soul is the inner child, right? Forming that container of the structure and of the nurturance that our inner child requires to feel safe and loved and protected. So on June 28th, Chiron entered Taurus, and Chiron is the wounded healer. And or the sacred healer, as one of the astrologers call her, because Chiron as an archetype was wounded. He had a horrible childhood. And as he healed himself, he became the healer. So Chiron entering Taurus, it was in Aries, and it was bringing up the healing of our own sovereignty, our own identity as Aries, because the keywords for Aries are I am. And Chiron now entering Taurus brings up the Taurus words of I have. So it is also connecting into that the Capricorn need for security, the inner child need for security in the outer world. So Taurus, Chiron right now is at 0 degrees, 20 minutes of Taurus, and 0 degrees is the most potent. That and 29 degrees of every sign is the most potent. So we're really feeling this inner child need to be held, to be healed, to be loved, to be seen. Taurus is an earth sign, and it's about the healing of the body through nature, through being in sunshine, through good food. Taurus is the foodie, loves good food. And it also highlights the side effects of allopathic medicine. So more and more, we're seeing the release into outer consciousness of how allopathic medicine can take us out of our true alignment and balance within the body and within our own spirit. So this is going to be coming up during this sign. Taurus, let's see. Chiron is in Taurus through 2033. So it's a long period of time that this is happening. And then Venus also rules Taurus, which is also going to be highlighting women's health as the divine feminine. And Chiron heals through love, the desire to heal through love. Holding the loving presence for each other, going through things. So I'm going to give you love's sacred alchemy for this, for Chiron in Taurus. Receive it now. and breathe it in. And they're just showing me, as love's sacred alchemy, like you when you're a little kid and you get a boo-boo, you get a cut on your finger or something, and you run to your mommy and go, Mommy, Mommy, and mommy actually just takes it and kisses it, and it's all better. This is what love's sacred alchemy is like. The love that heals, the love of the mother, the love of the father, the container that they form together to heal the inner child wounds. So another aspect of what's happening today is Mercury is stationing retrograde in Cancer. Again, the Cancer sign comes up of the Divine Mother on the same day as this full moon. So we really see the Divine Mother being activated now in terms of Cancer in this full moon and the energies that are surrounding it. Mercury is stationing direct retrograde in Cancer, and right next to it is Jupiter. So Jupiter expands everything it touches. So we know that this full moon is also carrying this cycle of Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde in Cancer, beginning today, is bringing up our past and our past wounds, our hurts, that which we haven't forgiven yet, our resentments, whatever we're holding on to, that really it's time to let it go and to heal it and let it go. How do we heal it? We just heal it through acceptance, through integration. Like, yes, that thing happened to me, but I'm no longer going to hang on to the resentment because it was all in a perfect alignment. The contract with whoever I had this encounter with, that I carry wounds from, it was all for a part of my own growth and learning. And so now I integrate it, I accept it, and I let it go, and I forgive. I forgive me for my part in it, and I forgive the other person. I'm gonna send in the return of the dove for this particular concept of forgiveness and the violet flame. Receive it now, return of the dove. Take the breath. And now just repeat after me. Beloved, I am presence. Open now the Akashic records to each and every lifetime and each and every dimension, to each and every time when I received a traumatic experience, and to each and every time that I was the one who was the perpetrator of that experience for someone else. And all of the resentments, the revenge, and unfinished dramas and traumas that have been stored as cellular memories within my body and carried over from other lifetimes. Open also these traumatic experiences and the records of them for my lineage, all the way back to the very beginning and all the way forward, as I call forth now the violet flame from my own I am presence into each and every one of these Akashic records, for me, for my ancestors, for my children, for my children's children, 7 generations back and 7 generations ahead. Let the violet flame from my own I am presence perform the perfect work. I give it all up to spirit. I call it into full integration within my life experience. I heal it now as my own healer. and I let it go into the violet flame. Oof, that was a good clearing. Let's just say yes to that. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! So this is a heads up that these past stories are going to be coming up during this lunation, right? And Jupiter's going to make them seem bigger than ever. There may be big emotions coming up. And when you feel it come up, go, oh, I remember it's time just to put this into the violet flame, to transmute it, forgive it, and let it go, right? Because Cancer represents our psychological origins and all of those um, traumas that we've had stored within our cellular memory. So the sun and moon are both square to both Neptune and Saturn in Aries. So Neptune is about no borders. It's about the higher mind. It's water flowing, and it is our connection to our spirituality. And Saturn is the grounding. It's like Capricorn. It's like the earth. It's centered and can be cold. So we are bringing both of those. Again, we see that flow of the mother and of the Saturn of the groundedness. But what this is bringing up is the recognition of the responsibilities that we may be carrying out of duty, fear, guilt, or past conditioning. So this is going to be coming up during this time. And we're going to be taking a look at where am I carrying, this feeling of burden, or where am I continuing to be responsible for parents or children or situations in the world that really aren't our own responsibility. So this morning before this call, I was feeling all of this pressure, and I was reminded to go within and say, okay, what percentage of what I'm feeling is actually mine? And what percentage am I carrying on behalf of others and of the collective? And once you do that, you will find that usually only a small percent, usually only a small percent of what you're feeling is yours to carry, right? You're holding it for others. And we do have to hold it for others, but we cannot be responsible for them. So this is the thing, like sometimes when we feel responsible for somebody else and we are being overly responsible for someone, that we keep them from actually passing their own tests because you're protecting them from showing up, right? So we want to take a look at where we might be taking on too much responsibility for other people. And then go to that point of honoring that truth within. And maybe this is one of the things that you are willing to let go of as we let go of things during this full moon. So I'm going to give you the blend, honoring the truth within. Receive it now. Take the breath and just let it land. So Saturn, as the ruler of this full moon, it rules Capricorn, asks you to fulfill your duties when they are actually your duties, to take extra time to rest because there's a lot of pressure and a lot of energy now with these T-squares, to create boundaries and at the same time being willing to work and commit yourself to that which is yours to bring forth or to hold. So the sun and the moon are squaring Saturn, are bringing tests, challenges, maybe crisis, pressure that I was speaking about this morning. Squares in astrology actually push us into change. They push us into that uncomfortability. And one of the people that was speaking about this morning was because his house was being cleaned, he had to like be outside in this very hot heat to receive this call. So I love that as the example of like sometimes we're pushed into uncomfortability to really honor our own commitments and to honor the possibility of change, right? So Saturn and Capricorn are both related to the past, asking us to take responsibility for our actions, our intentions, and our feelings. Hmm. So sometimes when we get that information that it's time to free ourselves, we need to take action on that. And the blend I'm going to give you for that is Taking Freedom's Flight, Cry of the Hawk. And the hawk is all about receiving messages, right? Being aware of the messages that are coming to us. So perhaps the message is it's time for you to let go of a responsibility that you've been carrying, or what is it that you need to unburden now? And then choose to make a decision in your life that's going to set you free. So the blend for this is Taking Freedom's Flight, Cry of the Hawk. Receive it now. So the T-square from Neptune is very sensitive, it's dreamlike, it alters our emotions. And it's important not to make important decisions around this cycle and to bring in like beautiful music that inspires you and also to pay attention to any mystical experiences that you might be having or dreams that come into your that you may be having during this time. It's time to restore yourself and to maintain emotional harmony. So it's to navigate through all of these changes coming through this full moon and what's happening in the outer and the inner. It's important to take time in nature. Capricorn, being that earth sign, is saying, okay, go to nature. Allow yourself to be healed through nature. Chiron in Taurus is saying, go to nature, allow yourself to be healed in nature, ground yourself, breathe. And what I love is a new teaching that I just received on cortisol and stress, and it was stick out your tongue as far as you can. So, and that's like the what we do in yoga where we go, ah, and we do the roaring sign of the lion, like, ah. And I realized when I got that teaching is like that's what we're doing when we do the yoga one, is like you're actually it releases the pressure in the central nervous system and the vagus nerve when you stick your tongue out all the way. So ah. So let's just do that. Just stick your tongue out all the way, make your eyes really big and go and roar like a lion. Like, ah. So this can be your practice during the moon, this moon, to help you dissipate the pressure that you're feeling and to come back into balance. So this is a good thing. I'm going to give you the blend equipoise for coming into balance. And since we did that exercise, there's another blend. It's called Roaring Lion Flame of Courage. So sometimes it does take courage to pull back where we've been holding space or we've been taking over responsibility for somebody else and to make a new decision for ourselves. Wherever you need courage, this is what this blend is for. Roaring Lion Flame of Courage. Receive it. Take the breath. So one contemplation during this cycle is, what is it time for me to let go of? Now, this can be outer relationships. It can be a job. It can be beliefs that you hold within yourself, false beliefs, personality patterns that you are carrying. What is it that you are really being called to integrate and to let go of now during this cycle? And the interesting thing about this Jupiter and Mercury retrograde going retrograde today being conjunct with Cancer is that Jupiter is at 29 degrees 56 minutes. It's its final day in Cancer, right? So Jupiter in Cancer is at its most potent degree at 29 degrees. So you can expect that feelings are going to be magnetized during this cycle of the moon, right? And Jupiter in Cancer is all about the home. It's about the sweetness. It's about the mother. We can call upon that degree of 29 degrees Jupiter in Cancer to really receive the beneficial aspects of Jupiter in Cancer, the sweet divine mother, the great mother, right? So let's just take a moment now to just say, I receive Jupiter in 29 degrees of Cancer as a benefic planet, here to bring abundance, here to bring love, here to bring sweetness in my life. I receive it now. I receive it now. I receive it now. So here are some of the teachings that were given through Moon Omens. It's a astrological site, and the woman who gives the teachings, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name right now, but if you can go to moonomens.com, she just says some of the wisest things when she is giving her understanding of the lunations and the different things that are happening in astrology. She said, we can attach to injury because injury gives us a place to belong. So part of being Cancer is a desire to belong, to have a home, to be surrounded by family. And the question to ask here is, where am I expecting the world to take care of me and to be my authority? Rather than stepping into your own personal authority as Capricorn, in your sovereignty, one with your own I am presence. So in this lunation, Cancer is asking, did I feel safe enough to belong to life? Cancer is about safety, emotional safety. And Capricorn is asking, was there enough structure for me to trust life? And this is where we're looking at the wounds of the inner child. Did I feel safe enough to belong to life? And was there enough structure for me to trust life? So Saturn in Aries gives us the theme of self-authority, of that sovereignty, of being the highest authority for our own life. The question is, can we develop an authority that begins inside the self instead of looking for authority and affirmation about who we are outside of ourselves? So there's an exact conjunction coming. Mars is playing a really big role within this lunation, and it's the ruler of Aries, and the ruler of the full moon is Saturn, and it is in Aries. So the whole theme of Aries, Saturn, Mars is big. Okay, so there's an exact conjunction between Mars and Uranus on July 4th. And this is really, really, really big, especially for you, the United States. July 4th is our Independence Day. And on the chart of the United States, this is a major impact on that chart, the astrology chart of that. So if we look at Mars as being it's considered the warrior god, but aggressive and movement forward and wanting to take care of bringing things into alignment, and Uranus being uh, the planet of change, of sudden surprises, of the lightning bolt that comes down to create change where we were not able to do it. It's going to be interesting to look at, this whole connection of this Mars and Uranus being conjunct on July 4th, the 250th anniversary of the United States. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but it's definitely going to be an aspect of the celebration of the 250 degrees, 50 years of America's existence, right? The United States, yeah. So Mars is with Uranus in Gemini. So it's conjunct with Uranus in Gemini. So both of those are they're right together, they're acting together. Gemini is about communication, it's about fast movement, it's an air sign. And Uranus can bring sudden words, sudden actions, sudden change, snap decisions, unexpected and shocking news and information. So it's brilliant for bringing in breakthroughs, but it can be unstable for our reactions. Guard against saying things that you're not going to be able to take back. Guard against getting triggered during this period. Really see if you can implement that taking a breath in the times that you're getting triggered and being aware of your words, what you might be saying. Be really careful during this lunation about extreme reactions. And, what Saturn's saying in that is calm yourself, be calm, and to be patient. Use patience in our interactions. So this is going to bring up very unpredictable times and a strong need to break free from all restrictions, anything that's holding you back, and to rebel from limitations that might be present in your life, in your relationships, in your job, in whatever, or you might see how you need to free yourself, your internal self, by changing your patterns, by a new routine, by really being conscious of taking mastery over your own life. So I'm going to give you the blend for that, breaking free, moving on, for that desire within us to be free, to move on, to come into the greatest alignment with our own contract with life. Breaking free, moving on. Take the breath and blow out. For some of us, this might mean leaving relationships that we're still in that are no longer serving us. It may mean creating boundaries around ourselves so that we can maintain our own identity. And It may mean pulling back from places where we've been taking responsibility for others. So this is from Moon Omens. I'm quoting a lot of hers today because I just feel like she really has the ability to nail it. So she says, Cancer feels, Capricorn must contain, Aries wants to act, and Gemini wants to speak. So this is sort of like the cosmic soup we're in during this lunation. Cancer feels, bringing the emotions up. Capricorn must contain, wanting to like create a structure that's safe, an outer structure that's safe. Aries wants to act, to move into our sovereignty. And then Gemini wants to speak, wants to get it out and get it on the table. This lunation could show us where we have abandoned our own inner child because of that Cancer being the mother, Capricorn being the father. We need a safe container to nurture our own inner child. And if, just like if you had a lifetime where your mother and father weren't in balance, right? You were abandoned by one or both of them, right? So the blend for this is joyous abandon barefoot in the park. So when you have parents who are holding the energy for you, you can be in the park and you can hang from your knees and from the tree or the pole, and you can go down the slide head first backwards, and you can feel like you're being held, right? But if you don't have that, you feel vulnerable. And you don't have that structure that's going to really hold you to take the next step. So, joyous abandon barefoot in the park is for healing the inner child. So, receive it now. Take the breath and hold it. And where is your soul? Where is your inner child longing to be free? What can you let go of in this full moon cycle? And what can you implement within your life that's going to give you and your inner child the support that you need? So this is from Moon Omens. Cancer, that desire for belonging, for family. So true belonging wants us to be seen. Many people have a fear of belonging and discover that they can tolerate loneliness more easily than intimacy. Loneliness hurts, but intimacy exposes. Loneliness creates longing, and intimacy creates vulnerability. So we're now standing between two fears. If I become fully myself, I may lose my place and my sense of belonging. But if I fully stay the same, I may lose myself. So the question is, where am I abdicating the throne of my own life? Where am I giving myself away to others in way or situations in ways that don't really align with my true essence and who I really am? She goes on to say, every departure that we take demands separation. Wait a minute, I'm blowing this. Every departure demands and carries grief. Every initiation requires separation. Every transformation requires the death of an old identity. So, in order for us to be free, there's times when we have to leave behind us old identities that we've worn. that we need to separate ourselves out from the comfortability of belonging in a relationship, in a situation that no longer serves our highest purpose. And with that departure, there is a sense of grief because it was a sense of comfort. It was a sense of something known, a pattern that was, or a cycle that was happening for a long time in our life. But there are times when we complete that cycle and we have to move on in order to remain in integrity with our own divinity and our own contract with life. So this is a continued quote from her. The moon in Capricorn asks where life is calling you to a greater maturity. Mercury retrograde with Jupiter in Cancer is asking what emotional stories are still influencing my choice. And Saturn in Aries asks whether you are prepared to claim authority over your own life. Mars and Uranus is asking if you are awake enough to recognize the difference between liberation and reaction. So this full moon in Capricorn is really asking us to ask the hard questions of ourselves. Where am I in alignment? Where am I out of alignment? What do I need to do to come back into alignment with the highest alignment with my own divinity, with my own I am presence, with my own contract to life? Where am I being asked to step into greater mastery and take dominion in my life as the creator of my life? We're always creating our own life, but we're not always taking responsibility for what we're creating, right? So El Morya, for those of you who may not know him, is the father figure. He is the disciplinarian. He is the one who wants to coach you to climb the highest mountain, to be the most that you can be in this lifetime. And so he is the master of teaching us how to manifest personal perfection. So I'm going to give you that blend, manifesting personal perfection. Receive it now. Take the breath, hold it in. And personal perfection isn't about being perfect in everything you do, but it is coming into alignment with your true soul blueprint. So the name of El Morya is derived from Maraya, Maraya. And Ma stands for the feminine nature of God, and Ra signifies the father aspect and refers to the term used by the ancient Egyptians for the ray or sun. So I love that when I saw that explanation of his name, because right within his name we have the Ma, the mother, and the Ra, the father, that balance. El Morya is the master that has mastered that alignment, true alignment to God's will. But God's will is not outside of ourselves. God's will is the alignment, the perfect alignment with your own I am presence and your own true essence. So Yah in the name, YA, refers to the Yod of God and the third part of the Trinity of the Holy Spirit. And El is from the ancient Hebrew signifying Elohim or God. Therefore, the syllables of his name, El Morya, appropriately glorify God in all ways. So he is known as the Chohan of the blue ray of God's will and God's power. And his embodiments have taken him to again and again and again to that point in that lifetime where he had to take a stand for what he believed was the highest truth, aligning to the true will of God. And many lifetimes he lost his body for that. So he was Abraham in the Bible, sometimes called the father of Christianity and Judaism. Abraham is known for the supreme test of his faith and his willingness to sacrifice his own son when God tested that faith. So, God told him to put his son as a sacrifice, and he was willing to do that. He was also a Melchoir as the wiseman, one of the three wise men. He was King Arthur. He was Thomas of Becket, Chancellor of England under Henry II. His devotion to the will of God often conflicted with the wishes of the king, and he lost his life. He became the Archbishop of Canterbury, and as Sir Thomas, he became the Archbishop of Canterbury. And though he loved the king, he had an unwillingness to compromise his faith. So his beliefs and Henry's will conflicted, and that led to a brutal murder in that lifetime by the king's faithful knights. He was Sir Thomas More, Lord Chancellor of England in another lifetime. And I'm returning in this lifetime to the service of King as Chancellor of England. The soul of El Morya found himself befriended by the same soul who was King Henry II, now embodied as Henry VIII. Again, in that lifetime, he found himself having to choose between his faith in God and God's will and his faithfulness to the king, refusing to deny the authority of the Pope as a spokesperson for God. Henry convicted him of treason and beheaded him in that lifetime. And that lifetime of Sir Thomas More, he said before his beheading, "The king's good servant, but God's first." And then he returned as the Mughal ruler in India. He was known as Akbar the Great, one of India's greatest rulers and a defender of the Islam religion. In his final embodiment, he returned as Rajput prince in India. He joined with souls of Kuthumi and Dwakul to found the Theosophical Society. And in that lifetime, his focus was on acquainting mankind with the laws of the universe and the hierarchy of light. So again and again and again, he re-embodied to master that mastery in alignment with God's will, with his own contracts with life for that embodiment. And he had such a strong will within himself that he was willing to lay down his life to hold that true alignment to his own essence. And now he's chief of the Darjeeling Council, the council to which all the ascended masters belong. So he is truly an inspiration, and the master that gives us the initiations in aligning with our true essence and our true contract with life. And he was the one who brought me into the teachings of the Ascended Masters when I was 27. Through the book Sheila and the Path, through Elizabeth Clare Prophet. And I was in that community for 14 years, and that is my connection to the Ascended Master realm. So let's see what El Morya has for us in his channeling today. So I'm going to make a change here. And to bring in El Morya behind me for this channeling. So receiving that picture of El Morya, this temple of light in Darjeeling, just receive that. And then close your eyes and go within, making that connection to Master El Morya. See Master El Morya standing in the center of our circle with his blue cape. Cobalt blue is his color, his cape around him, and his turban. He wears this turban that has a diamond right in the center. Mm. It is I, the one you know as El Morya, and I have come to stand in the center of your circle, to anchor within you the flame of courage, to align with the fulfillment of your true divine plan for this life on planet Earth. Before you come into embodiment, you indeed create with the councils around you and the sponsors of your lifetime a plan for this life. And you agree upon the assignments you will take on and the gifts that you will bring to support them in the fulfillment of your duties to life. And yes, you make agreements with other individuals that they will come into your life so that you can experience events and situations that will move you forward on your spiritual path of evolution. And these are karmic agreements. Sometimes unresolved situations carried over from other lifetimes. And sometimes agreements to support each other in the ways of greatest love. And although those events may not feel loving at the time that they manifest, the sole agreement is for the highest and best evolution of each one concerned. And so often you might come into families where you might feel like the black sheep, that you were not seen, appreciated, and loved, and sometimes even abused because your family, your parents, your siblings could not see you for who you really were. And because those families and those lineages carried within them dysfunctions of abuse that were still out playing within your family, sometimes carried down through generations. Sexual abuse and misconduct, addictions to alcohol or other destructive personalities, anger, physical abuse. And so, beloveds, many of you have grown up within families where you were not honored, you were not seen, you were not heard, and you were abused physically or emotionally. And you took on the contract with that family out of a desire to serve and a willingness to endure, to gain greater mastery in the ways that your soul was calling forth. And all of you have come again and again and again to planet Earth in multiple embodiments in service to humanity. And so you have embodied into families where the other family members did not hold that same commitment to life or were not evolved spiritually as far as you were. And so there was an imbalance within the relationships. And dear ones, I want to honor you for being willing to come into these families that were dysfunctional, if that was your case, so that you could bring in a greater love, a greater understanding, a greater light, and that you could be the one that chose to heal these dysfunctions within the generations of your family lineage. And so we honor you at this time for being willing to be the courageous soul who has come again and again and again to planet Earth to anchor the qualities of God's will and God's power. And now it is time that you begin to honor yourself above all else. Honor you as a magnificent being, not of this world, but having come from other universes, other systems of worlds, to bring your gifts and to anchor presence in earth for the evolution of the collective souls evolving on planet Earth. And it's time for you to understand that those times of trauma that you have endured in this lifetime and others have all made you into who you are today and the evolution of your soul. And that the squares within this lunation, bringing pressure upon you and upon all Earth's evolutions, come into the understanding that coal is transformed into diamond through pressure and through heat. And this is true within the evolution of the soul. It's called the refiner's fire in the Bible. The pressure and the fire from the events that you experience and the intensity of the emotions that burns away the dross and leaves you purified and more aligned with your true essence. And so I come to you today as the father figure. My cape on the outside is the cobalt blue of God's power and God's will. And I can be the disciplinarian. And like Saturn, I hold you accountable to your highest alignment. But when I open my cape, on the inside, it is pink. For I carry the immense love of the Father's love for each of you and your soul. And I honor you immensely for the gifts that you have brought into this lifetime and all the ways that you serve the evolutions of Earth. And so I invite you to use the medicine of this full moon in Capricorn to make changes in your life that will move you into a greater alignment with your own divinity, so that you can anchor more of your light and more of your true presence into the heart of the earth. That you might make changes that bring you into alignment. That you might be surrounded by others who hold your spiritual beliefs and are in a similar resonance to yours. That you might accelerate on your path of soul evolution and hold higher and higher frequencies of light, of love, of mastery. For the purpose of life is to serve, yes, but more than service, it's to evolve, to embody the fullness of your own I am presence in the physical body, to walk the earth in mastery, to be a light shining in the midst of darkness. For this is why you chose to embody at this time, when the earth is going through such turmoil, to throw off the religions, the governments, the financial situations that are not truly aligned with the will of God for the people, that are not in the highest alignment of service to the whole. And so in this moment, you are being called to be a pillar of light, to hold the balance, to anchor the jed of Osiris of his backbone into the heart of the earth in times of great transitions on planet Earth. For you are the ones who have the spiritual understanding of that which is taking place on planet Earth. And you have the mastery to gain the mastery over your own emotions, your own thoughts, your own actions, to hold a greater balance for those in your family and those around you, your community, and the planet as a whole, to undergo this initiation in coming up higher, in greater alignment with the will of God, which is not separate from you, but rather coming into alignment with your North Star, with your highest possible manifestation of anchoring God Goddess in your body on planet Earth. This is a time of acceleration of consciousness and demands greater mastery on your behalf. So when you have a situation in your life that the human self is trying to figure out from the mental aspect, should I take this job or that? Should I leave this partner? Should I leave this situation that I'm in? You may not know, and you might be confused from the human mind of trying to figure it out mentally. And that is when you must surrender to the highest will of God and to the mystery of your own life. That is when you go to your I am presence and you say, Beloved, I am presence. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what is the highest situation, the highest choice that I can make for my life. But I know I must move forward in some way to be free and to be fully aligned. I don't know how to do it by myself, and I don't know what the possibilities are. But beloved, I am present. You do, you know. So I surrender my human ego and the human mind to the divine. Beloved, I am presence. Take my hand and take me there. Show me the highest and the truest alignment and open the possibilities and the synchronicities that will allow me to step through this portal of the Capricorn full moon, leaving the past behind and stepping into the infinite possibilities of the true alignment for my life. So In those moments of uncertainty and unclarity, give it up, beloved. Give it up to your own I am presence for the highest alignment. And when you receive the outer confirmation of what that might be willing to take the next step with courage, with determination, with strength. Even when you can't see how it all turns out in the end. Take the action, just do it. Take the step, and the next step will be revealed in perfect timing. Fear not, beloveds. Follow your heart and go for it. For each is being called into a greater mastery. And within your own being, you know that playing small is not what you have come to do. So go inside and go to nature and contemplate. What is my true and highest alignment? For my service to life that honors who I truly am, the gifts that I bring, and this moment, this cosmic moment of the turning of the cycles on planet Earth. And so, beloveds, I am giving you as my gift to you a replica of the diamond in my turban. And I program your diamond especially for you, for the qualities of courage, of faith, of trust, of goodwill, of kindness, of determination, and of love. And I, El Morya, now take the diamond that I've created specifically for you, and I place it directly within your sacred heart. Receive it now. Receive it now. Receive it now. Be fearless, beloveds. Be fearless in the determination to gain your mastery, to walk the path, to climb the highest mountain, and to fulfill that which you have come to do. And so in this moment, I celebrate you. I celebrate all of your embodiments. I celebrate your gifts. I celebrate your determination, your strength, and your willingness to be in embodiment at this time on planet Earth. Come to my retreat in Darjeeling. When you go to sleep at night, ask the angels to take you. And have the intention to align fully with the divine blueprint of your own life. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. I celebrate you, the jewel in the heart of the lotus. And I take my leave with my words, but not of my presence. Call to me. I am an aspect of the Divine Father available to you in any moment that you call me in. Namaste. So take the breath, slowly coming back into your bodies.